Okay, guys, second attempt, and yes, second attempt because there were a lot of F words in there because someone asked, how do I know Loki loves me? And of course, every freaking thing that could go wrong while I was trying to record this went wrong. So that's kind of how I know Loki loves me is in my life. He likes to interfere with things because he knows I have a really bad temper and he knows it will go off and I'll explode and he'll sit back and he'll giggle and he'll have his jollies with it. That said, for me, you know Loki loves you if he is kicking your rear end. If he's not being your best friend all the time and supporting you no matter what you do, if he's kicking your rear end when you need it, and generally we know when we need it, um, you know Loki loves you if he's not letting you feel sorry for yourself and play the victim. He don't care what you went through. I mean, it's not like he's gonna not be sympathetic if you have depression or you've had a bad past. I don't mean that. But he's also not going to let you use, as one article said, and I love it because I have it in a book, my inner child needs holistic healing. He will find your inner child and kick his little ass, as the eagles say. Um, he will push you, and it will hurt, and you will hate him. And he will totally destroy your life if he has to transfer you. That's what transform you into what you need to be. And that's one way you know he loves you. But I think this person was asking, like, how do I know, in the beginning? It's going to be totally different for everyone. But in general, you're going to know it because the more he loves you, the more you go and get to see every side of Loki. And he's not all touchy-feely, good husband, worm, tiny little kitten of a god. Remember, he's a destructive force. He's the force predicted to destroy the world along with his children, which is probably a lovely metaphor. But he's a destructive god. He's a dark god. And when a dark god loves you, it doesn't mean that they destroy your life. It's like having a Santa love you or any of the underworld gods love you. It means they'll make you do the work you don't want to do, and you keep babying out of it, and you keep crying and saying it hurts. They will make you do that. And it can be really rough and it can be really hard and you can wish they went away. But it's the most loving thing they can do, and the so-called, gods of the light. And I hate saying light and dark because there can actually be, negative gods of light. There can be very destructive gods of light, depending on how their people portray them. Do you know what I mean? And you have to learn to accept the love as it comes. Does Loki love you? In most cases, yes. There would be very rare people, and you can usually tell Loki doesn't actually have anything to do with them because they're in competition with everyone. If you know Loki, they have to know him better. They've known him longer. They will make up stories on the spot of how they've known him longer, or Loki's given them more stuff or something. People that are competing like that, they're going to be on his short list or they're not working with him in the first place. Not everyone that's going to claim that they work with Loki is going to be working with Loki, but you know he loves you if you meet a lot of these people. It seems the more he loves you, the more crap goes on wrong in your life, so he can kind of toughen you up. He's a really hard god to love. If you work Voodoo or Santeria and you work with the Ogres, you know how hard it hurts. How much it hurts when Papa Ogu's hitting you with his hammer and transforming you, metaphorically speaking. It hurts that much and then some, because Loki will absolutely not have any mercy on you when the healing work needs done. And when I started the channel, I talked about stealth attacks he would do. He would just come up on me and I would fly into a rage, or I'd get hysterical, or I'd get really, really depressed and I didn't know what was wrong. It was Loki bringing up an issue from my past I did not want to face, and I didn't like it. It hurt, but it was his best way of showing me love. Good way of knowing he loves you, or at least he's present, is he's turning everything in your life upside down, and it sucks. And it seems the more time you spend with him, the more of that energy you track sometimes. I'm not saying your whole life is going south in a handbasket and staying there forever. But he is a god of extremes. He's a god of one day is going to be like super cool and everything's going well and everything's good fortune. And then the next day it's like nothing but challenges. So that's why I also recommend, why most people who are Lokeans recommend, you have to have a god that's good and stable, who doesn't have those extremes, that you can be with. And they're kind of like your rock. Not that Loki can't be your rock, but he's kind of like a rock in totally random tide cycle. Sometimes you're going to be completely underwater and sometimes you're going to be high and dry. He loves you if you're changing. And if you learn to accept that you have both the dark and light in yourself as well, he's not going to take stuff well if he thinks it's nonsense. Let me put it that way. I know this is kind of long, but kind of got a long answer. And like if I try to read my horoscope, Ogo will be behind me saying that's BS. Or if I get into some other stuff, Ogo will be shaking his head and saying that's BS, because he's very truthful. He's the law. He's a spirit or god or whatever you would call him. Some people call him angels or demons, whatever you want to call them. I don't care. Of truth. That's why you have to swear on iron in some places in the world, because if you lie, having sworn before Papa Ogo, he will come kill you himself. Yeah, there's no sugarcoating the law of war and truth and integrity and everything else. So, Loki is the same way. He hates liars. He hates liars with a passion, and the more you lie, and the more you embroider on stuff, and the deeper you dig yourself, the worse it's going to be. He will bring your lies to light. The books I've recommended, the one has an article, it's very true. If you've been lying about stuff and you've been hiding stuff, Loki will take great delight in letting everyone know. Suddenly somebody you haven't met for 20 years will out you about something on Facebook, or they use the example in the article of that secret stash you got that you don't want people knowing about, of whatever. Somebody gonna find it. So yeah, Loki loves you honestly if a lot of chaos and a lot of challenge comes into your life where it is needed. I don't want to scare people away from Loki, but I've noticed that sometimes he's being portrayed as this fluffy bunny, and even Wiccans can't stand this fluffy bunny god that would never harm you. And while he never probably physically harm you, well, given exceptions, he's not the god to push. He's not the god to push. And he will, if he had to physically hurt you to get something across, one person said about, they were going back and forth again from the same anthology of Loki wanted them to draw and they didn't want to, and he said, you're going to draw or I'm going to break your hands. He would follow that through. So if you ever feel you've seen something like, you're going to do this, or I'm going to make something happen and then you're going to still going to do this, he will follow through on that. He is a god that will follow through on that. It's a lot, also like if you came here from seeing Lasanta's articles, he's a lot like Lasanta. He can be very loving, kind, sweet. You could leave puppies or kittens with him just fine. But when push comes to shove, if you ever lie to him and go back on a promise, or you need to do something, you absolutely need to do it in his estimation, you're not winning an argument with Loki. You straight aren't. He will lie to you and let you think you've won it. He loves doing that with me. When he immediately agrees to something that I know he'd be opposed to, I'm like, oh crap, I'm already in for it. So yeah, that's actually a wonderful way to know he loves you. He'll keep throwing challenges in your way, keep throwing stumbling blocks in your way, and annoyances, and interfering with stuff you're even trying to do. Like every time I'm trying to record a video for him, for this channel, something goes wrong. The freaking phone is ringing, or the camera's mysteriously moved, or I got hate mail from somebody, or there's somebody that suddenly came out of, left field, and they're suddenly the Loki expert. I'm suddenly totally wrong. I'm like, good for you. Be the Loki expert. I don't care. So yeah, he loves you if he's challenging you. Is he ever going to say I love you? Maybe. I don't know. Not everyone hears hears voices. Not everyone hears with second hearing. Not everyone sees with second sight, so forth and so on. But he will find ways to show he loves you. One woman said he kept using hearts with her. Maybe he'll use something else with you. But yeah, it's not all going to be dramatic. There will be those tiny little gestures and signs from time to time that yes, he is thinking of you, so forth and so on. He keeps still giving me signs for change, and I'm like, oh no, I've been through enough. What do you want to do now? So yeah, he will show he loves you from the little tiny butterfly or whatever you see that you associate as a sign from him to big dramatic upheavals in your life that sucks so hard. And you will be hating him and cursing him out and begging your other gods to please take him away, and they will not, because you need it done. You need the work done, and Loki is a surgeon that works without anesthetic. That's the best way I can put it. It will hurt, and you will swear very often, but that's actually the most loving thing he could do for you. He can, really kick you from one end of the town to the other sometimes, but it's for your own good. It's to fix what needs to be fixed, and it depends on what you need fixed, how it's going to work out. But yeah, he loves you through countless ways. I answered the person that as long as stuff isn't exploding every time you pray to him, and like fires don't spontaneously start in your house every time you're like, oh, I love Loki, and then boom, something catches on fire. As long as that's not happening, you're probably okay. But if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. And he is usually very, very loving. There's always going to be that one person that would make even Mother Teresa become a serial killer. But other than that, he's usually going to be very loving and work with most people, but he is definitely the god of tough love. He is the god of challenging you constantly and pushing your borders, and sometimes you do have to learn to accept that as love as well. But yeah, you'll also get those sweet, nice signs too, even though you want to wring his neck sometimes with some of the signs he gives you. So I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.